Check this out. Glen Phillips towed the wet sprocket. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing all right, thank you. How are you?
Good. Longtime fan of Toad. Like my high school years, man. My high school years were Toad the Wet Sprocket. I had all the albums. It was just great. Fear, and the other one's celebrating their its 31st anniversary this week, right?
Is that Dulcinea?
Yeah,
Could
Dulcinea.
be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay.
31 years. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
What a great
It's been a
album.
minute.
It's
Thank you.
It's been a minute, and now you're heading out on tour. You're coming to the
Mhm.
Lyric Baltimore October 2nd. I'll be at that show. I can't wait to come and see you. Finally, bucket list show for me. And you're bringing KT Tunstall and Vertical Horizon. Did I see? Is there anyone else on the bill?
It depends on the show. We're doing it's just the three bands is a lot, but it's the three bands for that. The rest of the tour we're doing a lot of it's going to be Jayhawks and Sixpence None the Richer.
Oh, nice. That's a good,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good lineup.
Yeah, it's a
How do
great
you come
lineup.
up with these lineups?
Um, Call around and ask. Um, some people we've been out with before. I mean, we just did some touring with Jim Blossoms and Vertical Horizon a while ago. Love Matt Scannell, love the guys in that band, and
Yeah.
they're always wonderful. So having them will be great. Haven't played with KT before, but can't wait to do that. And yeah, and Jayhawks I don't know. They said yes, and thank God.
Thank God. And this gives
Mhm.
people like me the chance to come and see a bunch of bands that I love and admire, all in one place, which is just a whole different vibe, right? When you have several artists on the bill, and instead of just yourself, it is kind of a different vibe for the night, right? Can you set that up
Yeah,
for
it's a
people
little
what to
more of a
expect?
festival, right? And
Yeah.
so it's a festival with hopefully better access to drinking water and bathrooms. So um, and not quite such a huge undertaking.
Yeah.
And we just found in the last few years, we love going out with just us and like a new band that's developing. But um, in the last few years, we've done this, and also with so many people on the road, I think, and it's a fuller evening. We get more people in, we all get new audience out of it, and it ends up just being a great experience.
So I love to do research on people, obviously that I'm interviewing, and I did not know that you started Toad the Wet Sprocket when you were 15.
Yeah,
Can you
it's
take us
been,
back to that time and how that kind of came to be?
I mean, 15 or was it really 14? I
Oh,
met Todd and Dean, I was probably 14.
wow.
Todd, Dean, and Randy, we were in choir and in high school theater together. They were all seniors and I was a freshman. Uh, and the simplest answer is that I was really lazy, and Todd had a like one of those Woody station wagons, and turned out he lived 2 blocks from me.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to bike home after rehearsal, and I started asking him if he'd take me home. And he had this, record collection with I'd been listening to a lot more. I was kind of more into Ozzy and Rush at the time,
Mm.
and he had Husker Du and the Replacements and Squirrel Bait and REM and U2 and Waterboys. And so I just started hearing this new music and we started writing songs together. It took a little while for the band to get together. And then for about 2 years, we were trying to find a singer who wasn't like a 15-year-old nerd. Uh, we were on a lead singer hunt for a long time. And yeah, at the beginning, I played bass. Dean was playing guitar and keyboards, and it just shifted around and kind of became what it was.
Thank God it shifted around because I couldn't imagine anybody else singing the songs that you wrote, fronting this band. It's got to be you, that voice. It's incredible.
Well, took a while to get there.
It took a while to get there, and that's okay. You
Mhm.
clearly perfected the craft, and look at you now. I mean, seriously, it's unbelievable. Um, I think that songwriters have the stories. I always talk about this, and I love the stories that come out from songwriters. Can you take us back to when you wrote All I Want?
I don't really remember. I could pretend to. I mean, the main thing was that guitar riff, and then coming in with the chorus, and it has, there's a melancholy in a lot of the songs, and so, that really comes through in the verses on that. It's not like a walking on sunshine, happy straight line. It's about, you know, all the things that kind of take us away from being present and, appreciating the moments when we are, when everything's okay. Like Buddhism is called like non-specific happiness, right? Not
Yeah.
because anything happened, but just because you're there and you're alive. And uh, really, more than anything, it's about that moment and how fragile it is.
Do you remember how long it took you to write that song?
Um, Not really. I remember we did it. The first melody I had it for was this. Da, 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 da. It was like a lot more dancing around, and Dean was like, "Could you make that simpler?" um, and so I simplified it, and we had all the harmonies on the chorus. But once again, I was 20, 21 when that song happened, so.
Mhm.
It was a long time ago.
It was a long
Um,
time ago.
but the funny thing about it is it almost didn't make the record, because we thought of ourselves as an indie band,
Mhm.
and we've been in the indie world, and it was a little too pop. Uh, and we actually recorded Good Intentions, that was a single later from the Friends soundtrack, but we kept that record off of the album because it felt too pop, and we didn't think we were a pop band.
Wow.
And there was something about the brightness of All I Want. It's like, no, we play sad songs. But it ended up making the cut. And, it was the third or fourth single off the record. It wasn't like everybody knew it was the single and we came out of the gate with it. We'd been
Yeah.
touring for 9 months when that came out. So we were all pretty surprised to suddenly be a, successful pop band when we thought we were kind of a cool mid-grade indie band.
And I love how there's some sort of beautiful melodic flow with your songs. Hang with me for a second. All I Want, Walk on the Ocean, Something's Always Wrong, Fall Down, Good Intentions. There's just this somewhat of a melodic flow where you get this, it's Toad the Wet Sprocket, but each
Mhm.
song has just its own vibe. And I love that. Like my favorite is Walk on the Ocean. I mean, I think that's like the
Mhm.
lyrics, the groove of that, everything is just perfection with that song. Love that song.
Thank you. That one's Todd's music, and he writes. He doesn't share a ton about his inner world, but I think he really puts out like his melodic writing. His sense of mood is like
Yeah.
so evocative and really easy to write words for. And Walk on the Ocean once again was one where he came in with the music. We did up a demo. And he's like, just write something down. And so I wrote that lyric in about 5 minutes, didn't really know what it was about, and then wanted to come back to have a chorus because I still have no idea what the chorus is about. And I kept trying to rewrite it into something that made more sense, and
Yeah.
nothing felt as good. So we just kind of went with the feeling on that one.
No, it's beautiful. It's just a perfect, it's just, I like when I do work and I just have my headphones on and I have my background music on, I always have Toad mixed in. And I love when Walk on the
Oh,
Ocean comes
sweet.
on because it's just one of those songs that just, I don't know, is it like, it's just soothing? It's just a soothing song.
Mhm.
I love that.
It's fun, and it's not your typical pop song. I mean, it's
No.
what is it? Three verses, only ends on a verse, starts cold with the vocal, and it's like in 6/8. It's not in 4/4, and accordions and mandolins, and it's more of a sea shanty or something.
Love
Yeah,
that. Sea shanty. I love that. When was the last time you guys were on tour? Have you been touring pretty
every year.
regularly? Every
Yeah,
year.
every year for a number of years. We broke up in, I want to say 97 and got together again, was it 2000, sometime between 2001, 2003.
Hmm.
Um, and then the last few years, it's just been feeling like we've hit a stride again that we're all really happy with.
Yeah.
Um, Kind of decided to up our game, and it's been so fun playing shows. It's so yeah. So we've been going out every summer for a while.
It's interesting to me growing up in the 80s and the 90s, coming out of this really cool decade of music, the 80s, right? Really just, we had a lot of different vibes there. And then you had the hair bands and you had new wave and synth pop. And then you're coming
Mhm.
into the 90s, right? And there's this whole new wave of bands that come about. And then you hit the grunge scene. And it's kind of like you guys fit in this weird, awesome way with kind of standing out and making a stamp for yourself. How was it for you? Um, Trying to find your place. There was so much going on. I feel like, especially between like 85 and 95, with the
Mm.
change of music happening on the radio. I mean,
Yeah,
everything was changing,
radio completely changed.
completely changed. How did you guys find that time?
Um, Wonderful and challenging. I mean, all I want was getting played on rock radio, pop radio, what became alternative radio at the beginning. It's like, is it
Mhm.
postmodern? Is it like people didn't know what to call it? Um, and there was a period of a ton of freedom just before everything got consolidated again, right? There'd been uh an opening of formats, an opening of frequencies, and things weren't, it was pre-clear channel, so things weren't kind of centrally programmed to the degree they can be now.
Mhm.
Um, and I think and you hear the DJs at that time talking about the free, how they loved getting to play, going from Public Enemy to Sarah McLachlan to, they could play whatever they wanted and they did, and they were trying to expand people's palettes. And so, um, we benefited a lot from that. Um, it was also a period where, bands I think who thought of themselves as edgy or indie were now getting played on mainstream radio, and there was this thing of the 90s of kind of fighting against your success, not playing your singles, kind of being like, we're not a pop band, but at the same time, you are. and, and, I think we really wanted to be at the cool kids table. And at the time, we were kind of sad that we weren't. But we also built our own audience and got to, we toured our asses off and built a really, um, I think an audience that's been willing to stay with us for a very long time. And we're really grateful for that. Um, Even though we were on a major label, we had like a 70,000 name mailing list. We would always send postcards and like a Christmas single on cassette and, uh, allowed taping at our shows. So we made sure people could trade. So we did a lot in terms of, um, making sure we are accessible to people, even after the show, like hanging out until the last person to talk to us and just taking a grassroots attitude to something that was a major label project.
And you came in right at that sweet spot because I feel like if you would have been 5 years earlier or 5 years later, there may have been a little bit more of an issue. And it was that perfect sweet spot for you guys.
Yeah, and it was as surprising to us as anything. I mean, you have to work and you have to do good stuff, but you also have to be in the right place at the right time. And
Yeah.
that's, half of it is that luck, at least half of it.
How do you think touring has changed for you guys from the mid to late 90s to now?
I mean, you know, I mean, there's simple things like cell phones, GPS, portable computers. Uh, the mechanics of it are different, and the experience of it is very different just because of the amount of communication there is.
Yeah.
Um, there was, I miss some of the being in the moment wherever you are instead of always being connected everywhere.
Mhm.
Um, But I mean, the basic thing is you go up, you play a show, you do your best, you try to connect with people, and that part hasn't really changed. So,
Right. And what can people expect when they come to see you guys on tour now with this called the mini festival?
um, who knows? The good intentions tour.
Yes, the Good Intentions
Um,
tour.
I never know what to say. We're not, I mean, we like an attitude instead of we're putting on more of a show than we did in previous, we're bringing out lights with us now. We're trying to make it a bigger experience, but at the same time, I think the feel we like is intimacy and connection, that we're all there together. And so um that's the primary thing. There's not like lots of fireworks going off, but
Will
um
people hear all the hits?
oh yes,
All the
we
hits? And
make
can
sure
you give
people.
some like gab in between and talk about the history of any of it?
Yeah, there's gab. There's, not a ton of gab. When I'm doing like a solo acoustic show, it's much more
Oh
I
yeah.
say whatever I'm thinking. And I mean, in these days as well, just trying to make the gab, at a time where people are kind of so divided, um,
Mm.
just trying to remind people that, the experience of seeing music together, being together in this, like we're able to harmonize with strangers and smile at them, and just trying to encourage people to kind of take that back out in the world with them, right? A little more trust in the people around them, a little more connection with how similar we actually are, and how new these artifacts of disassociation and discord are. That's not. I don't believe that's who people really are. And I think when we spend all the time looking at screens and reading conversations that are, you know, left, right, anything that are designed to burrow us in deeper to a narrow idea of what we think is right, I think just being able to, remember we're all on one small planet, we're all people, we share a lot in common. So
Yep.
that's what I want people to leave feeling.
I love that. I love that, Glenn. Are you guys working on any new music coming up?
Yeah, we're working right now on it's not exactly an acoustic is also it's very much a studio project, but like it's all acoustic instruments. Um a lot of re-records of it's both kind of a greatest hits, but also I think there's 14 or 16 songs on it. It's also a lot of deep tracks, and it's everything from our first album to our last album. And so it's kind of representing the whole span of the band.
Ooh,
um, and got to reinterpret a lot of the songs, got to re-sing a lot of, you know, things, just look at them differently. And that's been a really fun project to work on. And we're very slowly writing songs for another studio record as well.
nice. Very,
Yeah.
very nice. Well, I want to thank you for being on with me. And I have to wrap it up with my final question, which is what I ask everybody.
Mhm.
I would love to know, what is Glenn Phillips' goosey moment where you look down and the hairs on your arm are just standing up and you're like, wow, this moment in time, I can't believe this is my life and I get to do this or be with this person or sing to this crowd. What is your goosey moment?
There's so many. I mean, it's the good thing about the job, right?
Right.
Um, it's you know, God, I don't even know. Like, honestly, there's just a lot of them.
Yeah.
Uh, that maybe that's a cop out. I mean, there's just shows we've had with Toad where random song, you just finish it and everything just felt right. And the audience feels it and you feel it and everybody's elevated and you carry that on for the rest of the night. And there's, also things of just like getting to be backstage at my friends in Nickel Creek were at, I think it was Austin City Limits and, you know, Gillian Welsh and Dave Rawlings are playing this Dylan song, and Joan Baez walks down the hall and starts harmonizing with them, and it's like, oh my God, am I really here? You
That,
know,
there you
some of
go.
them are just like fly on the wall name droppy moments, but um,
Love
and
that.
a lot of them are really intimate, just playing songs with friends, nobody watching. Sometimes those are the best ones, just making music to make music. And, you know, for me, those are kind of my favorites. There's definitely a synergy with a big audience and everything, but there's also a lot of responsibility in keeping those going. And the beautiful thing about being a musician is there's an opportunity to regularly kind of find magic and and tap into being present, being alive, not being in any other place. And the
Yeah,
happiest moments for anybody are like, you know, when you're not in the past and you're not in the future and you wouldn't change anything. And even if it's uncomfortable, you know? So,
it's amazing. Good goosey. That's a good goosey. Well,
yeah.
coming to a city near you, Toad the Wet Sprocket, KT Tunstall, Vertical Horizon, and then your other guys as well you were mentioning. And I can't wait to see you guys in October. You can get tickets now. Give your website.
Yeah. It's toadthewetsprocket.com.
Perfect. Thanks so much for being on with me. I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
My
Nice to meet
pleasure.
you.
It's good to meet you.